Page 3 now, funding the United States military on Veterans Day 2015. It's a done deal, even if it thwarts a chunk of the radical Obama agenda. The defense authorization bill fully funds the U.S. military, but it also bans transferring any terrorists from Guantanamo Bay to American soil, much to the chagrin of Team Obama.
We have long expressed our disappointment at the repeated effort by Congress to impede the closing of the prison at Guantanamo Bay. The President believes closing that prison is a national security priority. The President's not the only person who shares that view. There are a range of Republican senators, including Senators McCain and Graham, who have indicated their support for closing the prison because it would advance our national security interests. There are a range of former secretaries of state who have served both Democratic and Republican presidents who have said that it would be clearly in the best interests of our country to close the prison at Guantanamo Bay.
But all is not lost for the rogue president. He still has his pen and his phone, which means he's going to do all he can to empty Gitmo before January 2017. But for the United States military, the damage is already done in many places. Question is, how long will it take for the U.S. military to recover from 8 years of Obama? Joining me now from Southern California, retired United States Marine Corporal John Preston. John, thank you for your service on this Veterans Day. We appreciate it. All the viewers on the Daily Ledger appreciate it as well. The United States military, the status. The United States Navy has been decimated. The United States Army, its lowest level of readiness, I've been told, in some 200 years. How bad is it?
Well, we're looking at, in the United States Army right now, actually, they're at their current lowest rate ever of readiness. I think it's at like 33% right now. In the last 3 years, they've actually deducted, I think somewhere around 80,000 troops are gone. Our Navy is the lowest it's been since 1916 with 272 ships. So, I mean, here it is, just like happened in the Clinton administration. Let's go ahead, let's take that smoke grenade, let's chuck it out, let's talk about the environment, let's talk about medical care, and let's talk about the economy while they slowly just decimate the United States military.
You probably still have some friends, some buddies who are serving in the military right now. One of the things that we've learned from the Obama administration is that Barack Obama will not have anyone in the United States military around him who doesn't agree with him. He's gotten rid of systematically people who have a spine, if you will. And the decisions that are being made, in my opinion, are political and not military. Is this what you're hearing from a lot of the ranks and file?
Yes, sir. And it's funny because you look at what happened in Benghazi and the fact that a U.S. Army general said, hey, we're going to help him anyways, and he was fired the next day. So it continues to happen. The morale is much lower than it's been within the military in general right now. But at the same time, us as the guys fighting, we got to load up and still go get down. So
should we be worried about the generals and the majors and the captains that are in place right now because they maybe are all PC, and if we ever do have to go into battle, they may not be the right people for the job?
Well, the reality is we don't have much longer of this presidency, and hopefully they're going to hold out because we are going to be fighting soon no matter what with everything that's going on within the world.
Okay, you touched on the morale. I'll say it if you won't. I think the bar has been lowered to accommodate female members of the military, especially. They're doing, this social petri dish in the United States military. There's been now circulating all kinds of reports of an increase in male rape that's going on. We have the cases of the United States military reporting true cases of rape in Afghanistan, and they're paying the price for it and trying to stop the rape in Afghanistan of these young boys. I mean, all of this has got to be crushing morale.
It's very unfortunate that we even have to be speaking about that. You look at something like that where it's a witness crime. It doesn't matter who gives you an order what to or not to say. That order becomes an unlawful order right away. So if you're told to ignore a rape, then you might as well be told to go murder people too. So It's just a terrible state that it's in, and the fact that you and I are having this conversation means there really is a major problem.
And it's terrible because these folks want to follow their commander-in-chief, but the commander-in-chief, I got to believe that a lot of these people believe that what I believe, and that is he may not have the best interests of this country in mind. So when we look at something like the VA, Barack Obama promised in 2007, 2008, 2009 to fix the VA. Are we any closer to a better comprehensive VA?
Well, right now, I'd like to say that it's pretty jumbled up. Every veteran that I talk to that reaches out in an attempt has to jump through every hoop possible. I mean, we're looking at our veteran suicide rates now are 22 suicides a day.
Wow.
And then 1 in 5 of us that fought this war in Iraq and Afghanistan are coming home with PTSD. We need help. And the problem right now is there's so many hoops to jump through, so many issues, guys that got out when I got out, and we weren't necessarily given directions on what to do. We didn't even know we had PTSD. So now you're going back and looking at that, and they're overran, and they need to figure out a way to get that.
Would you like to see a private sector solution to this? Do you think the government should be out of the entire VA system and let the private sector take over?
Well, if it continues running the way it is, I mean, private companies know how to run business, and it may be the best method.
Yeah, I think vouchers is a solution. John, thank you for joining us, and happy Veterans Day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coming up next, Stop the Tape, Obama's unfinished business, the further destruction of this country. Also ahead, the debate undercard, 4 fearsome fighters who would be president.
I spent 7 years of my life in law enforcement, and here's what every law enforcement, all 700,000 of them, should know tonight. When President Christie's in the Oval Office, I'll have your back.